the hunt has already begun. Welcome to this explainer, where we're jumping 1.7 million years into the past. We're going to dive into a truly visceral, high-stakes story of survival on the African savanna to discover what actually kept our ancestors alive. We're going back to a time when the world was incredibly hostile to find out exactly how early humans managed to not just endure, but pave the way for all of us.
Picture a band of Homo erectus moving silently through the damp earth of the endless African savanna. They don't have natural armor. They definitely don't have razor-sharp claws. So what was humanity's greatest weapon 1.7 million years ago? What was their absolute ultimate advantage? Let's get right into Section 1, the daily fight for survival.
Out here on the savanna, every single day is a test. At the center of the group, the strongest adults form a living shield around the kids, gathering roots, while the hunters track the deep hoofprints of an ancient antelope herd. But the situation can turn deadly in a fraction of a second. Suddenly, there's a movement in the tall grass. The wind shifts, and a massive saber-toothed cat explodes from its hiding place. But it isn't going for the armed adults. It's locked right on to the smallest child.
Instinct kicks in. The adults immediately rush forward. Heavy stones fly through the air. One hunter swings a rough hand axe, while another grabs a burning branch rescued from last night's fire and slams it right into the predator's path. That strange orange light startles the beast, just long enough for the tribe to pull the child to safety. The cat vanishes, but this victory, it comes at a heavy price. One of the hunters is left with a deep, bloody leg wound. The hunt has to be completely abandoned.
Which brings us to Section 2, Compassion in the Savannah. Now, survival instantly becomes a race against hunger. But instead of abandoning the injured hunter to chase prey, they do something amazing. They focus on collective care. The women and older kids gather berries, roots, and wild tubers. They crush up medicinal herbs, press them to the hunter's wound, and wrap it tight with strips of bark. And get this, they carry water in folded leaves and share it so carefully that not a single drop is wasted. But the savanna is totally unforgiving. As the days tick by, the situation rapidly worsens. By day 3, severe dry winds are sweeping the plains, and the game just disappears. By day 7, we're looking at extreme starvation. Birds are literally circling overhead. Here's the thing, they completely refused to abandon their injured hunter. They knew that true strength wasn't about who is the fastest. It was about the fact that they wouldn't leave their own behind.
Now for Section 3, Rivalry at the Waterhole.
Eventually, this desperate journey leads them to some fresh footprints by a muddy water hole. But there's a huge problem. Another band of Homo erectus is already there. The tension here is absolutely sky-high. Both groups are starving and desperate. The rival tribe reached the water first, and they make it crystal clear with their defensive posture and sharpened tools that food and water are way too precious to share. It's a total standoff. Tightened muscles, hands gripping stone axes, absolute silence. And then, without any warning, a frightened antelope bursts right between the two tribes. Every single hunter charges. It's pure chaos. They scatter across the plain, flying stones miss their targets, and dust completely swallows the landscape. By the time the antelope actually escapes, both tribes have burned precious, vital energy, and nobody gained a single bite of food.
Let's move to Section 4, The Storm That United Us.
Then, the earth itself completely flips the script. Dark clouds roll in with terrifying speed, and thunder cracks over the savanna. A violent flash flood surges through the valley. It's roaring, incredibly powerful, sweeping away anything too slow to escape. And in a terrifying twist, children from both rival bands end up trapped by the raging, deadly water, totally separated from the adults. The stakes literally couldn't be higher.
In this moment of pure crisis, instinct completely overrides rivalry. Adults from both groups form these desperate human chains, gripping each other's arms, bracing against the deadly current to pass the children hand to safety. They even plunge into the muddy flood to drag a drowning hunter out onto the riverbank. They risk absolutely everything for each other.
The aftermath of this flood is a real game changer. When the storm ends, the rivalry is just gone. The rain has totally transformed the land. The floodwaters actually trapped fish in shallow pools, providing a rare, life-saving feast. Hunters who were ready to kill each other just hours ago are now working side by side, breaking bones for rich marrow and sharing the warmth of roasted meat over fires built from dry branches. They survive by pooling their efforts.
Section 5, Facing the Lions Together. But the danger out there isn't over. The scent of that roasting meat, it attracts a massive pride of lions right out of the darkness.
You've got golden eyes reflecting the firelight, slowly surrounding the camp from every direction. Escape means abandoning the kids. Standing still means certain death. So they enact a brilliant defensive strategy. They gather into a tight circle, they raise burning branches up like glowing spears, and when the lions lunge, they unleash an absolute storm of rocks. Hunters rush from the sides to strike together. No one is fighting alone.
The battle is this terrifying blur of smoke, claws, and flying stone. Flames spread across the dry grass. And this fierce, cooperative defense actually works. It forces these giant apex predators to retreat back through walls of smoke. One by one, the lions vanish into the darkness, defeated not by raw individual strength, but by absolute cooperation.
Finally, Section 6, the dawn of humanity.
Silence finally returns to the camp. There's just the sound of heavy breathing in the crackling fire. And in this incredibly powerful moment, the wounded hunter from the very beginning, the one whose life almost ended days ago, slowly stands up without any help. The camp is at peace. Elders are shaping new tools. Kids are laughing and chasing glowing insects. Shared food and herbs have restored their fading strength. And as dawn breaks, these two formerly rival tribes walk out into the savannah as one single tribe.
Think about what that means. One single, united line of footprints stretching out into the distance.
It beautifully represents the ultimate evolutionary advantage they possessed. They were no longer divided groups competing for scraps. They were a unified force, completely ready to take on a hostile world.
To put it into perspective, they didn't have kingdoms, they didn't write down stories or build massive monuments of stone. But as we see here, every step they took carried the beginning of humanity itself. Their legacy was written with courage, endurance, and that unbreakable bond of survival. That is literally the foundation of who we all are today.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to really think about. If cooperation was our absolute greatest weapon 1.7 million years ago, how are we using it today? We relied on each other to survive the savannah millions of years ago, and we still rely on each other right now. Think about how you can harness that incredible, ancient power of cooperation in your own modern life.